Hello everybody, welcome to 10 Cow Ranch. Gonna do a little video today. We got a fun project. I'm gonna be hanging some gates. This has been a project that's been kind of in the back of my mind for quite a few years now, so we're gonna do it today. Haven't posted a video on this channel for a long time. It's been months, I don't know. Apologize for that. You know, we've got some good followers on the channel. It's pretty small, it's had its ups and downs, got sideways with YouTube for a minute, but trying to get back into it. It has been a crazy several months for me. Got a lot of things going on. Probably not going to get into much of them today. Will eventually, but you know, talk about all kinds of different things been going on. So today I'm just going to bring you guys along as I'm hanging these gates, and truly hanging a gate on a small ranch like this is not a very big event. Today's a little different because it's a set of double gates and they're 16 foot. When I built this fence, and I'll go over it here in a minute with you, I wanted to set it up so I could get these semi trucks in, and it's worked for that, but essentially it has created a giant gate that I'm going to try to fill with these two gates. So take a minute, ask you guys to subscribe. I've had some of my YouTube friends that have emailed me and said YouTube has unsubscribed them from this channel. I did a branding video last spring, and man, YouTube got completely sideways with me. If you're watching this, you haven't subscribed, please take a minute and do so. Hopefully we can kind of get it revived a little bit and keep going. So anyway, I'll flip the camera around, show you guys what I'm gonna do on these gates. And yes, it is cold enough for ugly hats and ugly beards. End of November. So anyway, we'll flip the camera around. Okay, so this is what we got. I'm gonna hang two. These are 16 foot gates. These are not a big heavyweight Powder River style gate. These are more of a maybe even what you'd call an economy. This is just a pasture. It's an acre and a half of a pasture. So this gate is not like we'd be crowding cattle or sorting cattle, that kind of stuff. They just truly don't need to be a heavyweight gate. The interesting thing is I'm kind of on this hill. I don't know how well you guys can tell that. So my first thought is when I'm gonna hang a set of gates, I want them babies flat, plumb, and perfect. I don't know how this is gonna play out. The way I'm gonna do it, this is the downhill side. I'm gonna hang this gate pretty much as high as I can hang it on this post. And then when I go to the uphill side, I may be hanging it a little bit lower, because I would still like to get these gates to where they meet in the middle is they're going to be flat. I don't know if I can do that. There may just be too much of a slope here. So yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go. But anyway, I'll just talk to you about a couple of my small projects I've had. You guys can see this is asphalt, a Rotomill product. This is one of my big projects. We just laid this just a few weeks ago. We did the whole yard. You can see up to the house, to the barn. My driveway is about 1,000 feet to the highway. We did the whole thing in this Rotomill stuff, and I'll tell you what, it is awesome. I think in a perfect world it is a little cold. We only laid this about 3-4 weeks ago, and I kind of had a rough estimate about I needed 300 tons. Yeah, it took 700 tons. So my estimation was off, but it's great. And what's strange about it, kind of getting off topic here, but this stuff, like where I'm standing right here, it is as hard as a county road. And if you go around the edges, it's not quite as hard. And the trouble is I got all this laid, and I watered it with a water truck and started rolling it, and I got kind of one pass over the middle, just the main section from the highway up to the house, and it rained and rained and rained. It rained almost solid for 3 or 4 days. So I don't know, that I ended up re-renting the roller a week or two later when it kind of dried out, and re-rolled it. I still have some soft spots. So anyway, that's one of our big projects that we've done recently, and I was going to YouTube that, and I didn't. I had a big crew. I had everybody here to help, but no cameraman. So anyway, that's why we didn't video that. That'd have been a great video. This guy right here, that's another one of my projects. I'm not going to talk much about that. I've owned this truck for 3 or 4 months, started hauling some hay and doing some other stuff. So that's another one of my projects. So anyway, this is what we'll do. I'll talk about the tools. I think it's going to be pretty simple to do. Got my trusty old cutting torch, one of my favorite tools. Crescent wrenches and pliers, not much, but they come with these pretty big hinge bolts. And so what I'm going to do essentially, just blow a hole through the side of this pipe, stick this hinge bolt in there, and the beauty of that is you can see it's threaded the whole way, gives you lots of adjustments. So I'll just put the video on time lapse while I'm monkeying around with all that, because that just is kind of slow and cumbersome. But yeah, we'll get the torch out. I think I'm going to hang this first gate, and then we'll see how the second one fits in. I almost forgot to tell you guys what I had here before, and it worked fine. It's these wire panels. Some people call them hog panels. These are pretty cheap, and honestly, they did a pretty good job. Not great. I put a strand of barbed wire across the top. Was it kind of jerry-rigged? Yeah, it was. I mean, we've had this pasture here for probably 3 or 4 years, so it worked for that. So I'm going to take these down. I'll find a place for them somewhere else. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of scabbed together. So drove my wife crazy. So anyway, glad my wife likes nice stuff. So. So I had this little strand of the barbed wire that I put on the top. I always save these little coils like that. Super handy. Throw that on a horse, throw it on a four-wheeler if you got to go up on the mountain and do some, just patch up a fence. These little spools of wire are pretty dang handy. Generally speaking, I like the barbless wire, just if you're going to put it on a horse or something, a lot less chance of poking your horse in the rear with a barb. So anyway, that's worth keeping. All right, guys, I'm going to just stop the time lapse still and just show you a little bit and talk about what I'm doing. For one thing, these glasses, they're actually pretty inexpensive, just a safety glass. Nemesis is the brand, but the lens is actually rated for using a cutting torch, so super handy for what I use. Perfect world, no. I mean, you probably should use goggles. These glasses, I've used them a ton, and never had a second's trouble. So just, I guess, to avoid the comments about me using not the proper eye protection when I'm cutting, these are rated for the right shade of lens to use the cutting torch. So I'm going to just flip the camera and show you guys, kind of seen on the time-lapse video, just kind of eyeballing. And I took some measurements on this hinge, and I'll show you the hinges real quick. But honestly, I've hung enough of these gates, and I mean, it's not rocket science. There's enough adjustment, there's enough slop in the hinges that you don't have to take real precision measurements, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. So the design of this gate is the bottom hinge, you can see, is welded. So that's a fixed hinge point, and maybe I should say. This guy is not. It's got the bolt right here. You just loosen that and you can slide that, so you got lots of room of adjustment. The way they are sitting right now, it's about 36 inches distance apart. So I got the one bottom hinge bolt put in place. I just measured about 36 inches to here, knowing I got a little bit of room to play either way. And from this distance, I just kind of eyeballed a straight line to the post, you know, behind me, and that's what I did on that one. So you can see that the hinge is kind of on a funky angle. Try to put this one on the same angle, and odds are I think it'll work just fine. So I'll grab the torch, blow a couple more holes through there. With those big nuts, the big washers, the holes don't have to be too precise. So. Okay, well, here comes the tricky part. I got a 16-foot gate that by myself, I got to try to thread those hinges over the top of those hinge bolts. So we'll see how it goes. It's hard. I mean, I wish if I can't get, I'll have my wife come out and she can help guide me on there. But yeah, it's just hard to be in the middle of that gate and try to eyeball that. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, looky there. I was able to get it. You guys can probably see from the camera that I need to adjust that top hinge strap, which is fine. That's what they're for. So I'll just grab it, or grab a wrench and get it adjusted, and then we'll try to kind of plumb the gate up, see how it looks. All right, guys, well, I was gonna just show kind of how I adjust these hinges, and maybe all you guys watching know, maybe you don't. Maybe if somebody's watching this that's never hung a gate before, this might just give them a little bit of direction. But I just brought a little torpedo level out here, and I don't know if you guys can see, but that end of the gate is hanging pretty low. And I mean, I can see that. I didn't really need the level for that. But with that hanging low on that end, we'll bring the top hinge in, the bottom hinge out, and that should plumb that gate. So we'll do that, and I'll show you what the level looks like when we get done. Okay, guys, well, I'm gonna flip the camera around, show you kind of how I adjusted those hinges and what the gate looks like. And you know, I probably should be better than I am, but we're not building a space shuttle here. You can't see it from the road. Do I want my gates level and plumb? Yeah, I do. Am I gonna spend a bunch of effort and a bunch of worrying over if they're not exactly perfect? I am absolutely not. So I'll show you what the level looks like, show you what the hinges look like. Okay, so there's the top hinge. Let's see, where'd we go? There's the bottom hinge. You can see the difference. So that tells me this post isn't perfectly plumb. There again, we're not building a space shuttle. So right there, you guys can see the level. It's kind of on one side of the lines. Then I swing the gate into the position that it's gonna be parked at. It moved just a little. So that, we know the post isn't plumb, but that is pretty stinking close to me. And for me, I mean, this gate is gonna be parked just in the closed position, I would say. 9% of the time. Hopefully you guys can see the bubble. That is pretty stinking spot on. So now the challenge is gonna be, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but it's almost an optical illusion. This gate, according to level, is really plumb, but it's going uphill. So it almost looks like it's sagging on that end, which it's not. So I'm gonna grab that other gate and stand it up there and just, I don't think I'll be able to get the tops of the gates to line up. I just think there's too much slope in the ground, but we'll give it a try. Well, I'll show you how I do this, and maybe I'm a caveman. So I've got the first gate hung and plumb. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough? Yeah. So what I did is I just took the second gate and stood up next to it. So you guys can see the difference. So this guy's just sitting on the ground. And of course this gate is hung in position. So that's about exactly 12 inches between those two top rails. So what I'll do is I'll go over to the post, and that fixed hinge from where it's at right now, I'll measure up 12 inches and put that bolt in there. 36 inches for the top hinge, and we should be pretty stinking close. I thought it would honestly be further off than what it is, but I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna work out great. I mean, in a perfect world, these gates will be flush, the two gates together, and both will be level, and I think it'll just look pretty sharp at the end of the day. So that's what we'll do. All right, as you can see, I had to shed the Carhartt and the ugly hat, and I found about the worst hat I have. Have a hard time throwing these old hats away. Gonna be cutting with a torch or whatever, you're gonna ruin it anyway. So we're gonna hang this other gate, and I'll just put it on the time-lapse deal so it goes a little quicker, but just gonna blow the holes in like we did on the other one, get the hinge bolts in, and we'll try to get her hung. Well, I made a mistake. I'm sure some people have done a lot of gates have caught it. Those hinge bolts, some of them have a little pin hole that you put like a cotter pin in, because technically, never seen it, heard of it, an animal could get his head in the gate and lift it off the hinge, because both hinge bolts are facing upward. So the way to do it is put the top one down, the bottom one up. So I'll fix that on the other one. We'll do it right on this one. I was gonna show you guys kind of what I got. So I chained those two gates together and put that on a block. Hopefully you guys can see that, to kind of prop this gate up. So This one will be a whole lot easier. I'll be able to walk down there on this end, stick that hinge female end into that hinge bolt, and then I'll manipulate the top and we'll get her put in. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so that was simple. Now what I'll be able to do is just manipulate those hinges on the top to get that put in, and then I'll just use that hinge bolt to pull the gate into plumb. You guys can see that I moved that lower, or this part of the hinge down, got that bolt in there, tapped it back up into place. I'll tighten this bolt, and then I'll be able to put a bolt or the nut and the washer on that one, and then I'll just pull this gate up with that. I'm going to give it a little closer view, so see the gap in the gate here. It's not right, and but this part of the hinge is tight now. This guy's in there. I'll just use the wrench, tighten this bolt up, and then that'll just stand the gate up into place. We'll do that next. Okay, we got the gates hung. I'm gonna flip the camera around and kind of go over what I did and kind of show you that difference on those hinges. I'm gonna fix the other one. I'll do that off camera, but I don't know. I was kind of interested to see how this is gonna play out. And I kind of had a little bit of a different thought process. So I'll flip the camera around and show you guys what I'm talking about. So standing back from this view, that top rail of that pipe fence is on the same angle as the slope of the ground. So that gate is kind of along that same angle. The tops of the gates meet at the middle, and then this gate down here is more level on the level ground. So guy could drive himself crazy thinking about this. I think it looks pretty sharp the way it is. Instead of trying to level this gate here that's on the uphill side, I've left it kind of on that same plane as the top rail, and I don't know, I think it looks pretty sharp. I think I'm gonna call that good. Showing you on these hinge bolts. So see how this one is facing down and that guy's facing up? So an animal can't get under that with his head. Horses are famous for doing that. They'll get under this, sticking their head through whatever, and then they can lift that gate off. Now they're out on the highway. So I'm gonna fix that other one, but that's how they were supposed to be done. Well, we're gonna wrap the video up today. I would just tell everybody thanks for watching. You know, like I say, this ranching channel, I just haven't done a lot with it. It's shameful because I've had a lot of activities going on. It's just, I don't know, it feels like the last 4 or 5 months of my life's just been chaos, and I haven't stopped long enough to take the time to make the video. We've done a lot of things, kind of showed you the asphalt project. You can see my Peterbilt in the background, so you know we'll be bringing that into the ranching deal. Ranching and trucks just go hand in hand, don't they? You know, we hauled a lot of cows with the Peterbilt this year, and so anyway, just like I say, I want to tell you my appreciation. I'm hoping we can drag this little ranching channel deal out of the weeds, because it's there. YouTube's almost shut me down. So thanks to you guys. Hopefully we get some new subscribers. Please leave some comments. yeah, anyway, love this life, love the horses, love the cattle, love doing little projects like this. Don't have enough time. I mean, if you guys know, if you got any kind of livestock around, there's always a fence to fix somewhere. And my place is no different. This has been on my checklist for a long time, so be glad to get this done. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.